My name is Matt, and my Physique Academy coach is Coach Zayne. I've been on the program for just under 6 months. I started at 230 pounds and got down to 188 pounds at the moment. I first found out about Physique Academy scrolling through Instagram. The algorithm was filled with all sorts of fitness and nutrition and training type of programs, but I kept coming across Physique Academy. I kept seeing their results and comparing that to other programs. Their results just always seemed to be better than anybody else that I was seeing. That's why I decided to sign up with Physique Academy. At the time, most of my adult life, I've always been an athlete, but most of my adult life, I've just been, I've never taken my nutrition or training really seriously, just enough to get by. If I gain a few pounds, I'd try to dial it in for a few weeks and lose some weight. If I'd go through stretches where I'd be working out consistently, then I'd go through stretches where I'd be totally, non-existent in terms of getting things done in the gym. But, as I'm getting older, in my upper 30s now, and, it was harder and harder to just take corrective action. And, it was harder to lose a few pounds. It was harder to take my diet seriously. It was finding myself easier and easier to make excuses about getting to the gym. So really, just not feeling very good about myself, wanting to get on track and make a change and see some positive results is ultimately why I reached out. But I think the goal when I first started was probably to, just to get the after picture. I mean, really it was like, you wanted to get skinny and you wanted to lose some weight and you wanted to see some abs. And that was really it. That was what I wanted to do. That was why I joined, because I was unhappy with the body that I had at the moment. Throughout this process, Coach Zayne's been incredible. I think the biggest thing that I've appreciated and enjoyed about his coaching is, early on in the process, I had started a new job. And so I had a lot of stress going on with the transition to the new job and a busy family at home. And I was trying to hit everything on the program so perfectly, and it hit everything at work perfectly and everything at home with the family so perfectly. And I basically reached like a tipping point. And I'd reached out to Coach Zayne and told him that I didn't think I could handle it. It was too much. It was too difficult. And rather than let me off the hook, he listened to what I had to say. He adjusted some of my goals, but he never let me off the hook. He never allowed me to make excuses and to give up on the process. He just found ways to make sure I could be successful while staying committed to the program and staying committed to the Physique Academy approach. And I'm forever grateful for him and for what he did for me during that time. Throughout this program, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is the power of consistency, showing up every day, putting in the work, meal prepping, eating the right foods, logging your foods, keeping track. It works when you can commit to the program and you can do it 7 days a week, months on end. It works if you put in the work and stay consistent. And that goes for the gym too. My mindset on the program, really changed from looking for sort of a quick fix, thinking that this was going to be a sprint to, the after picture, to really enjoying the way that I feel and enjoying the way that my body feels and the way my body looks, and being proud of the work that I put in over the last, roughly 6 months. It's really changed from looking for physical results to being very proud and appreciative of my mindset and how I'm approaching my health via nutrition and training going forward. I'm at a weight now that I haven't been at since I was 17 years old. So I think, over 20 years of just being heavier, and some of those a lot heavier, some of those just a little bit heavier, but I'm down to a weight when I was, in high school, which is just incredible. I would and have recommended Physique Academy to anybody that's serious about making a long-lasting and impactful change to their health, recognizing this is not a short-term type of sprint. If you're in it to try to get the after picture, it's not the right program. But if you're committed to really making dramatic improvements to the way you approach nutrition and training, then yeah, I would recommend Physique Academy to everybody.